I really want to speak to you today about the projector invitation, the projector's strategy of waiting for the invitation and stopping it from being so disempowering. We need a few shifts here, a few perspective shifts. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Rebecca. I'm an IHDS certified human design analyst and living a design guide. And I've spoken to over 1,000 people at this point about the human design charts, and around 800 of those have been projectors. I've also run 300 students through official IHDS trainings and run my own experimentation groups with over 100 participants. So I know a thing or two about projectors, a thing or two about human design, and a lot about the invitation. And I want to change the narrative of how we think about the invitation. So if you're ready for this really empowering conversation, this perspective shifting conversation, sit down, be ready, and listen. So, the wait for the invitation can feel like one of the most disempowering things about being a projector. This, what, I've got to passively do nothing. And you know what? There is something to be said for that. I'm going to give some credit to that. There have been times in my human design experiment where I've sat back and literally just waited and random things have come in. For example, the reason why I'm doing human design and having this conversation with you in the first place is through a load of random invitations that I genuinely did not initiate in any way, shape, or form. I was in a burnout when I first started my human design experiment, and a friend said to me, I think you should do your human design chart. And I said, I do not care. I am not interested. I've done enough self-development. I don't want another tool. What else could this system show me? And she was a manifester, and I didn't know that at the time. And I ended up creating my chart. Fabulous. I said to her, what does it mean? And she said, I don't know. Thank you. So, with my 1-3 process, my investigator trial and error process, I was interested in studying this. And that was before I could even understand what my human design chart meant. So, naturally, I studied it. I first of all looked into anything kind of free, any raw-based material, because that's source material. And then I had a reading, and then I went down the official route of studying. And actually, when you look at each one of those moments, me stepping into study was because the people that were around me at the time were my parents. They said to me, I really think this is something you should study. And I know you don't have the resources or the money to pay for this. I want to pay for this for you. And it was, I don't know, it's how much the living your design is. It's a couple $100, I think. And they paid for it. And I first of all started doing my studying and my training, and it was making a difference in my life. And then at the end of my studies, someone I was speaking to someone about it, and they said, this is really interesting and you speak about it in such an interesting way. Can I have a like an interview with you? Like, I've got a very small YouTube channel. I just like, talking to people about different modalities. Would you do a one-on-one like interview with me? I was like, okay, kind of thing. Yeah, my authority said yes. The invitation came. I did this interview, and genuinely for like 1 year, and I was studying in this year as well. So it was like I was doing other things and I was just trying to figure out life. After 1 year, I think 100 people saw it. One of those people was someone from the projector movement. I didn't even know the projector movement existed. They had over 100 people apply to be a reader. I was not one of those 100 people. I got a random email one day and I genuinely thought it was a spam email. I thought, there's no way. This is junk. This is a scam. And I was like, fine, I'll investigate this, my little trial and error way, investigating what's going on. I found the website. I was like, well, it looks legit. So I went to this call and I met Charlie, and he said, we really like the way you talk about it. And I said, but I'm not a reader. Like, I am not the person. He said, well, I think you might be. And that is kind of where it all started. How I carried on doing my analyst training. It was all kind of invited. How I've got these clients, how I'm doing human design. So there is something to be said for doing nothing other than following your process, following the signs that come through your environment, through your connections, through being in the right place, speaking to the right people, getting pointed in the right path. There is something to be said for that. I've had jobs randomly come out of nowhere when I haven't applied for them. It's been weird, but I think there are more nuances to this invitation. topic, and I want to go into that today. So I'm definitely not poo-pooing the complete passive wait because there is something in that. But here's where I want the reframes. Now, the wait part of wait for the invitation, I want to reframe to be make your mind wait. Detach from the outcome. Your mind's going to be thinking, your mind is narrating, absolutely. Your mind is saying, I really want to run this business, or I really want to be a human design person, or I really want to be in that relationship. Okay, I hear you. Let's wait. Let's detach from the outcome and see what happens. It could be my intuition says that whatever it is. Okay. And if your intuition's right, then it will be confirmed through this process. So let's experiment this. And I get my experimentation way is part of my process. So perhaps it will resonate more with you if you have a third line in your profile. But otherwise, this is my view on this. Make your mind wait. Your mind comes up with hypotheses, your mind comes up with theories. Make your mind wait. So it's this confirmation of you don't have to sit at home and do nothing. It's not a completely passive wait. If my friend said to me, do your human design chart, and I never did it, these opportunities wouldn't have come. If I said to her, what does my chart mean? And she said, I don't know, I could have left it there. My parents said to me, we can see that you're really interested in this. We want to support you with the $300, whatever it was at the time. Um, let us support you with this. I could have said no. It's not a passive wait, it's participating in life. It's actively participating in what you're interested in. And I always speak about this idea of raising your vibration. And I don't mean that in a woo-woo way. I really don't. What I mean by that is you don't have to be the happiest person. You don't have to be fully in alignment, but there's a book and I love it. It's called Levels of Energy. And it maps human energy on a scale of 0 to 1,000. And most people are plodding through life at like a 190. Like, yeah, just doing life, going about it each day, going to work, reading, sure. But it's around level 500 where you're seen as a guide. And it just so happens that level 500 is also joy, curiosity, and play. The other thing that I refer to is the strongest vibration we have in humanity is authenticity. It's stronger than love as a vibration. That's what other research has shown. So when you are being authentically you, in your authentic joy, curiosity, and play, whether that looks like reading a book and that's exactly what brings you joy in that moment, you don't have to be happy because you can still be going through a tough time. But when we're in that space, we are naturally going to be seen as guides and people are naturally going to resonate with us because of the authenticity vibration. Okay. So the weight isn't passive, the weight is active. We are actively participating in life. We're actively, not necessarily searching, but we're just showing up, being present, looking at people, interacting with people, having conversations, being in places that resonate with us. Place is the first thing, by the way, within human design. The right place brings the right people, brings the right opportunities. So, right place. If you do want to learn from human design about who you were designed to be recognized for and what you're not designed to be recognized for, then that's where a chart reading comes in. That's where you can receive the validation, receive the permission, receive the clarity on what you are designed to be seen to be doing and not. And one-on-one sessions are available. Booking in for an hour with myself, IHDS certified quality readings for projectors specifically. This is a very rare offering in the human design world. You can book onto them through the Projector website, and I would be more than honored to look into your chart and to explain what it is that you're here to be recognized for and what it is that you're not here to be recognized for, so you can align with those correct invitations and feel empowered to use your authority, not your mind, to make decisions. I hope this is insightful.